You're listening to Prosper in the Kingdom, the podcast where faith meets practical strategies to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Join hosts John Cleaver and Wendy Lee as they share insights to equip you in your journey toward abundance, spiritually, financially, and beyond. Just a reminder, every situation is unique. The content of this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as specific financial or medical advice.
Hello, and welcome back to another Prosper in the Kingdom episode. And John is out with the flu. So we have a special guest today, John's son, and also a partner in our business, Max Cleaver. So welcome, Max. Good to have you today.
Hi, excited to be here.
Yeah. So since we have Max on, we decided why not talk about things that are relevant to his generation, which Max, you're what, 25?
Yes.
So are you considered Gen Z, right?
Oh, yeah, Gen Z.
Gen Z. All right. I've got a couple Gen Z kids. So we're going to dive in some of the money myths that keep young adults from financial freedom and instead feeling broke or overwhelmed and believing the lie that financial freedom is out of reach. So we're going to uncover just a few myths here today and would love to hear from you guys in the comments. If you can relate, any advice, if you're from older generations, any advice that you can give. I tell my kids, I was just talking to a friend about this. I tell my 20-something-year-old kids, like, trust me, I learned the hard way, right? I want you to do it the right way and learn from my mistakes. But myth number one is that lifestyle creep is just a part of growing up. Right. And that is a myth because, we think the whole goal is make more money so you can spend more money. And really building wealth is the total opposite, right? Lifestyle creep feels normal because it happens slowly, a little bit more, right? Let's increase the number of subscriptions. It's like, as I remember my first raise in corporate, it was like, oh, I'm making an extra $10,000 a year. How can I spend it? Like, that was my first thought. I don't know. Does that ever happen to you, Max?
Oh, definitely. Especially if there's like a bonus commission check that month or something, it's just, okay, let me treat myself. And you can get into a habit of doing that as opposed to looking forward in the future.
Absolutely. And if I had learned young, like as the income increases, don't increase your lifestyle, but as income increases, keep lifestyle the same until you have assets that are paying you, that you're able to live off assets. Ideally, that's what you do. And so, part of that, I think, comes, I'm assuming social media, right, influences some of that. It normalizes that luxury living. And it's really before income can even support what you're doing. Because I think I know for me, there was this mismatch between making good money and actually building wealth. Building wealth comes by not spending all the money you make, right? And instead, there's this pressure to match what others your age are doing, right? And if they're, I got this new car. I mean, I think it starts probably with cars in high school, right? My son is a freshman. I have one son that's a freshman, my youngest son, and he was talking about this kid that's driving a BMW to school. And I'm like, yeah, that ain't happening. Right. But like you said, it's that treat yourself. Like, how can I, I've worked hard. I deserve this. How can I treat myself? And instead, if we take a shift and say, how do I treat my money the right way when it comes in the door? And we just finished in book club, right, Max, reading that book where it talked about dividing up into the different, he called them jars, right? So every dollar that comes in, you divide up. So $1 does not pay you $1. $1 goes to a little bit for investing, a little bit for giving, a little bit for saving, a little bit for charity, and then you live on the rest. And if you can create that as a habit, then you're never going to be broke, right? But when we have that lifestyle creep, I know even just subscriptions like streaming services. Back when I was young, we paid for cable and we thought, oh my gosh, it's so expensive, $90 a month for cable. And so then it was like, get rid of cable and get Netflix. And it was so cool because it was like $7 a month. And now we have all these movies and stuff. Not that way anymore. How much do you pay for, or how much are those streaming services now?
Yeah.
They're like
easily
more than
triple.
Yeah, more than cable.
You have to get them all to get everything you want.
Yeah. I had a friend post on social media the other day. He's like, I just want to watch the football games. Like, and now I'm paying for 4 different streaming services just to be able to watch football. So, all right. So the truth is, so that was the myth, right? But the truth is that wealth is created by keeping your lifestyle behind your income on purpose. So like I said, as that income goes up, keep your lifestyle the same until you have wealth building and use leverage other people and financial planners and things to help you learn how to build that wealth. So what's myth number 2, Max? I'm going to toss this one to you.
Oh, definitely. Credit cards are the big one with my generation specifically. Everyone thinks that they're safe as long as you pay them off every month, which some people can, but that's just assuming that life just never happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The moment you have that car repair or, moving costs. I know because a lot of people in your generation are not buying houses yet, right? And I bought a house right off the bat. So I was in a house when I was 21 years old. But since then, since selling my house, I've rented the last few places. And I never realized like the expenses that come with that, just the moving. Sometimes you need the storage unit and the money that you put down for deposits and all of that. So moving costs, medical bills. And what happens? I used to be the person that paid off the credit card every month. And then my income stream like dropped drastically. And I actually had an American Express. I was probably 34 when this happened, maybe. And I had an American Express. I paid it off every month. And then my income decreased suddenly. And I had to then use the credit card. And then it started carrying the balance. And then it becomes this cycle, this vicious cycle that you can't get out of. And before you know it, we talk to people in our financial planning business all the time that are tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And then they get the consolidation loan to help free up the credit cards again and lower the payment. And then they max out the credit cards again. So, financial influencers oversimplify. You guys, this is how banks make their money, is with these credit cards. And we treat it like a safety net instead of a risk. So the truth is that you don't need that credit card to survive. And if you do what we said in the first myth, right, and you separate out your income, you put money away in savings every month, every dollar that comes in, then you're not going to need that credit card to survive. So any more that you want to share about credit cards? What's been your personal experience or people around you?
I definitely started off believing, I'll just pay it off every month. And then medical bills or whatnot happened. And that caused that balance to start creeping up more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I was also big on points for a little while. I'm like, I got to get as many points as I can. And there's a reason 30% interest can get you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Until you have I know for me, I don't have the discipline. I just know it. I don't need the credit cards for the points because I don't have the discipline to pay it off every month. I just don't. So I've learned that about me. Other people are really good at that. My dad, he's like, he puts everything on I think his Costco credit card because he likes the money back or whatever, puts everything on it and pays it off every month. So if you have that discipline, do it. If you don't, or if you don't have that stack of cash in the bank that you could cover that if you went over 1 month, then just don't do it. Save yourself, right? Discipline over points, right? So,
yeah.
All right. So myth number 3, take us into that one, Max.
So myth number 3, debt means that you're just irresponsible with your money, which is definitely a myth.
It is. You want to share any more about that? Or you want me to dive in?
So it pushes young adults into debt from day one because rising rents. I remember back when I moved into my first apartment, I think I was paying maybe $600 and now I'm paying upwards of $1,200. And same thing with tuition. It's outpacing like minimum wages as well as inflation itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we think, oh, if people are in debt, they're irresponsible. But the way the world is set up right now, it is, if you're not really responsible with your money, like taught, and that's the thing, we're not, like, nobody's taught this stuff. You're not coming out of college with a financial education class that said, hey, don't spend every dollar you make. Here's how much you need to put away. We're not taught that. And by the time you're done school, you probably have expenses that are outweighing what you're gonna make. I mean, now people are spending so much on school, and then they get out of school, they have student loan debt. That's just a normal thing now, is to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, and then go try and find a job that's going to help you pay that off. And so debt isn't a meaning. It doesn't define you as irresponsible. It's just it's a circumstance. So it's just the situation you're in, but it's not an identity, and it can be reversed. It can be fixed. And so God calls us to steward money with wisdom and not shame. And so if you're feeling that, that you're mad at yourself for getting into debt, just see it for what it is and turn it around. And, getting deeper into the debt conversation as you grow your wealth, actually debt that generates income can be a good thing in the future. So, all right. So myth number 4 is that you'll never be able to afford a home. I know I have a son right now. My oldest is getting a little stressed out thinking about buying a house. He's like, the process is so long, right? And it is difficult. It is. There's a lot of short-term frustration. And it is harder today, but it is not impossible. So there are so many different ways that you can get yourself into a home. And I would encourage young people, especially if you're getting married or you are debt-free and, are making money and not maxing out your lifestyle right now. I think it's a wise investment. It's a lot of times one of the biggest assets you'll ever have in your life is a home. Like I said, I bought a home. I think it started building it when I was 21 and moved in when I was 22 years old. But that was a huge asset for me. We doubled our money on that place when we walked away from it. And so, and we found creative ways back then to be able to, we did no money down. And there are ways to get 3 to 5% down. There's down payment assistance, first time buyer programs out there. And then obviously too, looking at different ways to increase your income. I know, Max, when you started working with us, right, you were working another job, working with us, and you're working with us on 2 fronts. So talk a little bit about what it looks like at your age. This isn't fully in line with this, but bringing in that side income stream.
Yeah. So having additional income definitely helps. Like, yes, I do make commission, but also my salary structure helps me pay my bills. And then I use my commission to help build towards my future, and which hopefully means buying a home in the next year or 2.
I love that. And so, if you're out there getting, working the job that gives you the steady paycheck, a wise thing to do is create that side income stream that you can start putting money in savings and start saving up for your future. So home ownership is not out of reach, right? So once you control spending, your debt, those doors are going to open, and that stewardship will build stability, and stability builds the opportunity. And so don't give up hope. Figure out, get your team around you. Like my son's already talked to somebody that does mortgages, right? He's figuring out, what does it look like to get pre-qualified? What do I need to fix on the financial side? What does my credit score need to be? And how can I get my credit score up in ways that aren't going to get me in a debt bind? So, all right. And then myth number 5, and then we'll wrap it up with this one, is just figure it out as you go. I want you to talk about this a little bit, Max, because you have kind of a different perspective being in the financial industry at such a young age, like pretty much coming out of college doing this. And you've heard people's stories that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, not having it figured out yet. So what would be your best advice to combat that myth that you just figure it out as you go.
I mean, definitely starting early time is your greatest asset. Because like you said, we meet with a lot of older clients that are late 60s, early 70s that are they should be starting retirement, but they didn't build anything. So they're just lost. And there's probably a feeling of regret in there, not starting earlier. So biggest advice is definitely start early.
Yeah. Get it right now. And it's not just figure it out as you go. One of the best lessons I ever learned, somebody said this, put it this way, I thought was so good. What you don't know is costing you lots of money. And that applies to so many things. Like what you don't know about managing your money is going to cost you long-term. So you need a roadmap. Having that clarity and a simple plan is so much better than guessing, because if you just guess your way, figure it out as you go, then you're likely to wind up like those 60-year-old people that we talk to that still are not prepared. And those people that get it right young and not just listening. And I want to say this because a lot of people that have like the 9-to-5 job that they, get the 401k, they think it's easy to think that just, I'm maxing out my 401k. That is not a roadmap. Okay. That's one strategy that may or may not get you there. But it's a poor tax strategy long-term. And it's not a true roadmap. So you've got to get around people, don't just take the advice of your boss or, the random guy who just started his financial planning business. You've got to get with people that, a company, do your research, maybe meet with 3 or 4 different, financial planners or advisors and figure out what's out there. What different financial vehicles can you put your money in? What do you need to do long-term? What are tax strategies? Do I need to do everything pre-tax or do I need to do some things post-tax? Have those conversations and get a roadmap now. And because when you have that wisdom, you can walk in confidence. And so we're all about, stewardship, which is going to lead to that abundance in your life. And ultimately, you're not stressed about your life. And I mean, the people watching, not you, Max, but you're not stressed about your life. Instead, you're able to be radically generous because you've got your stuff figured out. And that's how we should walk as far as, building this kingdom on earth. And so with that, we want to offer to those watching, if you don't have someone to walk you through that roadmap, reach out to Max, reach out to me. You can go to safemoneyroadmap.com and request your free financial plan. We will do that for you watching the show. We'll do a free financial plan for you and give you that roadmap so you can see where you are today and what you want to build towards and have a true plan to build that out. So any final thoughts, Max?
Just start young.
Start young. I love it. Start young. And be cool. I'm like, that should be like the new cool thing to do is get your money right young. Start a new trend. I know for me when I was young, it was not that. It was spend and have fun. So, all right. Well, thank you for being here, Max, and filling in for John today. And we're praying that he feels better quickly. And we'll see you guys again next week for another Prosper in the Kingdom. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Prosper in the Kingdom. If this episode added value to your day, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with someone who could use the encouragement. For more resources, head to prosperinthekingdom.com. Let's continue building lives of purpose and abundance, one step at a time.